Hello, my name is Danya Jekyll. I'm the Executive Director of the Asperger's Association of New England. 10 years ago, a group of parents and professionals got together because the word Asperger syndrome was not known.
My name is Susie Kame, and my daughter Nomi is 22, and she's a member of the association, and she comes to your Friday morning adult groups. She was diagnosed about 2 years ago after many, many years of confusion and competing diagnoses and incompatible diagnoses. And we finally got one that made everything make sense.
I had always had problems socially and problems holding on to a job, and I got a new therapist a few years ago, like about 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, "You know, David, he met with me once and he said, you know, you seem to really be on the ball. You know, you're intelligent and funny and you have a lot of good traits. You know, I wonder, what would you think about me sending you to a neuropsych?" The report came back a month later, symptoms consistent with Asperger's syndrome. And I'd never heard of it. I had no idea what it was. So I Googled it, and the first thing, I just typed in Asperger's syndrome, and the first site that popped up was actually the AANE site.
A lot of the outside world really blames parents for their parenting skills. All kinds of parents have heard for years and years and years they're not good parents. They haven't done what is right for their kids. Here at AANE, we see parents as going way over and above.
I think parents they get a lot of blame as they go along collecting diagnoses. We got treated for so many years as parents of a borderline who must have caused all of her terrible behavior. I also wished for Nomi's sake that we had figured it out earlier, because there were a lot of wasted years and a lot of the stresses of high school when she first began to take it really, really hard. If we had known what was going on, we would have been able to make life easier for her rather than let her overachieve herself into the hospital.
What comes to mind is clumsy. I'm physically clumsy, socially clumsy. Communicationally, when it comes to social communication, it's clumsy. I have the image, you know how girls do jump rope? And particularly the African American girls do this double Dutch and all these fancy jump ropes. To me, social interaction is like the fancy kind of jump rope. I can't even do simple, basic, repetitious jump rope. So I'm outside and I'm watching. And it's sad. That led to a lot of the depression.
What was really important for me with AANE was that it was the first time I had some hope. You know, my son got diagnosed at 4, and I'm looking at this 4-year-old boy, and a lot of doors and hopes have closed down when you get a diagnosis that you don't understand that well. And so it was hard. But when I talked to Danya for the first time, she gave me some, you know, lots of possibilities. She gave me some practical things to do, and that was really great. And she gave me a lot of referrals to people. And over the years, I think that's one of the things that's been really great about AANE.
As an organization, I feel that AANE has probably the most innovative programs in the United States. We're probably the only organization, or one of the only organizations in the United States that actually has groups run by people with Asperger's syndrome.
My name is Jossie Burke-Sabat. I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm 32 years old. I'm on the board of the Asperger's Association New England. What I've found since I've been a part of AANE is I'm impressed with how much input people on the spectrum can give to the organization. But also another thing that I liked was I went to their first social event, and it was a museum of fine arts. And I thought that was, what I liked about that is it wasn't a condescending event. In other words, it was an event that was age appropriate, it was adult, in fact it was kind of artistic and intellectual. It wasn't like taking us to the park and play on swings or something.
The goal of AANE is to support families who have children with Asperger's syndrome and to support adults who have Asperger's syndrome. We feel very strongly that it's important for families and for adults to have a community that cares about them, where they feel comfortable. We also feel strongly that it's important to educate the outside world to accept and to understand adults with Asperger's syndrome and children with Asperger's syndrome, and certainly to educate teachers and other professionals who work with children and adults.
I need to deal with this Asperger's thing. It's like, it's a bigger impact on my life than I want it to be, or than I want to acknowledge that it is. I've worked really, really hard to get where I am, and in the process I've come up with a bunch of metaphors to kind of describe who I, what it feels like. And one of the ones that I use is, in terms of the workplace, is the pearl and the oyster. You have to spend a little bit more time working with me. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I need to make sure that I'm clear on what I want, and what's expected of me. Okay, you get an oyster, it's maybe not easy to open, but if you spend a little bit more time on it, devote a little bit more time, then it can become, you'll find the pearl inside, which is me and my work ethic and my personality and my skills.